I thought, man, if I look back on my career, I want to say I wrestled at WrestleMania. I made WWE because WCW was still not at that level, back then. And so I decided to do it. But Vince McMahon, I told him what I wanted, and he gave me exactly what I wanted. And I said, Vince, I asked him for a big signing bonus. He gave me that. Everything that I thought, you know what? I'm going to ask him to let my wife fly everywhere I fly. Now, Steve, not even thinking she's going to be my valet or anything. I didn't want to get divorced again. I wanted everybody in that business was either going through a breakup or divorce or whatever. And I thought, I just met this girl. I'm really in love. I want to make this thing work. So I said to Vince, Vince, there's one more thing I want, and I'll sign the deal. And he goes, gave you everything you want? I go, I need one more thing, and I'm signing the deal. He goes, what's that? I go, I want my wife to fly everywhere I fly. And he goes, I have never heard that before. He goes, most guys are trying to get away from their wife. But hear me out for a second. How about she's a really pretty girl? How about if we use her for my valet? He goes, oh, let's just worry about you right now. But he goes, I'll fly your wife everywhere you go. But he agreed to it, right? So he sends me a ticket to come to Stanford to sign my contract and talk about what the character is going to be and so forth. So he sends me a ticket. And back then it was a paper ticket, I said, well, Vince, you sent just one ticket. My wife flies everywhere I fly. And he goes, to sign a contract? I go, Vince, she goes everywhere I go. So sure enough, he sent the ticket for Rena, my ex-wife. And we fly in and we walk into Vince's office. He sees it. He goes, I got to put her on television. And that's how it started. And so he gave us a list of these names for her. And we came up with the name Sable. And that's how it was started. Said she would be my valet to walk me to the ring.
Let's go back to the discussions with Vince McMahon. When he calls you up, because, man, he sees you as like, oh, my God, this guy could be someone here in the WWE. Because, back when I was brought in and many others kind of like me, I was brought in as a mechanic by a fluke, winning King of the Ring, getting kicked by you. Triple H was supposed to win that King of the Ring, by the way. So anyway, things like that happened for me. And it turned out to be a good end, to a great career. But you're talking to Vince McMahon. You literally got one of, if not the first, guaranteed contract in the history of the business. Mm-hmm. You got your wife floating around with you all around the world. I mean, that's unheard of. And, to get anything like that with really, no leverage. Do you realize how ahead of the curve you were?
Steve, as I look back now, obviously it was incredible, but see, I had a new 3-year deal coming up with WCW, and they gave me a great guaranteed contract there. So I knew I had some leverage. In other words, I still had a home, I didn't get into a big argument with Bischoff at that time yet, because it wasn't until I told him I was going to WWE that we got a little argument, but it was, I had leverage, and as much as I wanted to go to WWE, knowing it would be I really wanted those three, and a big signing bonus, which was kind of unheard of. Guaranteed contract didn't happen, but to even get a signing bonus on top of that was just incredible. So it was amazing that happened, but that's what I wanted, and I got it. And Vince even talked about putting on the strap on me right away. I mean, it was incredible but here's the thing that people don't understand. Vince thought that they would still be able to do some version of the Johnny B. Bad character. That's what he was interested in, So when we sit in the meeting, and all of a sudden Vince realizes I can't do anything. This is when the lawsuits are going back and forth because everybody's stealing each other's wrestlers, and it's crazy time back then too. So Vince realizes, okay, we can't do anything with the Johnny B. Bad character. What are we going to do? And then we're sitting in this meeting. Then the name went. They said, well, what about using your real name? I said, Marc Mero is kind of a boring name. And I don't know how it came up. I don't remember exactly, but it was Wildman Marc Mero. I said to Vince, I go, what is a wild man? He goes, well, can you do a Tarzan yell? I said, I don't got a very strong voice, Steve. I can't yell very good, And so I tried, but I just didn't have like, So anyways, like Ric Flair had the woo, I could not do the Tarzan yell, okay? So they started doing drawings of this Wildman Marc Mero, and I was like, what am I, from the jungle? What am I, So I never really connected with what Wildman Marc Mero was, because I'm still doing the same moves Johnny the Dad was doing, and still kind of the same gimmick,
Yeah, I was wondering about that, because as I go back to 96 as that King of the Ring, I wasn't wearing the black vest yet. I still had the slow music. I wasn't settled into the Stone Cold character yet. I'd come up with a name, but I was still evolving. And so, again, I would find myself and go on. But that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you is coming from Johnny B. Bad. It's something you seem to be able to adopt and gravitate towards. But as the wild man, to me, it never seemed like you were comfortable. The work was still the same. The work was good. You did a lot of athletic stuff. But just as far as that character, to me, it always seemed like you were searching.
Steve, you could have hit the nail better on the head than that, because I was totally disconnected. Johnny B. Bad was fun because it was so opposite me. It was like playing a character, just coming out there like a nut, having fun. But Wildman Marc Mero, I just could not connect with. And, and then they put the strap on me after winning the Intercontinental tournament. And so I thought, man, maybe this is my chance to really shine. And then they brought in the fake Razor, the fake Diesel, and we had terrible matches, and it just started declining. They took the strap. Triple H won his first title, beat me for the strap. And then it was shortly after that, I really blew my knee out bad. I remember the thing that I think pissed off a lot of people too was that here I am on a guaranteed contract. Guaranteed. So now I'm sitting at home collecting the same money that I was busting my ass, and it did not sit well with a lot of people. And then they used Sable a lot of times to promote Austin 360 shirts. She'd come out and get a big pop, and she's selling your damn merchandise. So we got another royalty there. But but she started getting really popular, and Steve, this is where it really took a turn. So they want to repackage me. We came up with the marvelous Marc Mero gimmick, play off of my boxing days, and the whole thing of being jealous of Sable's popularity, which. Remember something, I'm totally on board with this. Me, her, and Vince Russo would have meeting after meeting on things we would do to get her over, and it was really working well. Now here's Steve, the people say to me, well, you ruined your own career by allowing her to power bomb me and make me look like a fool, but I got to be honest with you, if I could go back and change anything, I wouldn't, because all the paths I took in my life, Steve, had led to me right where I am right now. So I don't want to change anything. But I remember I didn't care. See, first of all, I had a huge guaranteed contract. At that time, it was a lot of money. I mean, compared to what some of the guys are making now, it's nothing compared to some of the guys making now. But back then, it was a lot of money.
Indeed.
So not only am I getting a guaranteed contract whether I work or not, and plus it's easy stuff doing just coming out there and yelling at her or doing silly matches, but she's now making great money because her merchandise is selling pretty good and she's doing really well, and now all of a sudden all these offers come in from TV shows and other things outside. So Steve, I'm telling you, the Brinks truck was backing up to our house. So who am I to say, oh, I'm so worried about my career, I'm not going to do this, Are you kidding me? The more we get her over, and at that time you think you'd be married forever, we're always going to be together. So let's bring as much money in as possible. And then Steve, what happened? And gosh, I might have only shared this once or twice before. And I'm not trying to listen. We've never said a bad word about each other. I don't go that route. But the truth is, what happened when Playboy came to Vince said to me, he goes, "Hey, Mark, Playboy has a really strong offer to have your wife in their magazine." I said, "Oh no, I could never do that, man. I'm a Christian. I couldn't do that, Vince. And so I remember, I don't know why she wasn't with me at the time, but she was doing something with other TV show or something. I can't remember. But when we came home together, I said, "You're not going to believe this. I got to tell you something." Vince said to me that Playboy would like you to do their magazine. She was, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." And Steve, God is my witness. I don't remember who said it because I'm not throwing around the bus. It might have been me that said it. But I just remember we were sitting at our table, and I remember how stupid I am. And this is why I can be so honest with me now, is that I look back at my life, what a jabroni. I think the word, if you look up jabroni, there's my picture right next to it, okay? I said, or she said, I can't remember, was, let's just do it. God will forgive us, okay? So anyway, so they're not only offering her this huge sum of money, but they're offering her a quarter an issue over their normal sale. So let's say Playboy sold, I don't know what it was, like say 500,000 copies a month, for their magazine. And if she did a million copies over this, another 250 grand, right? It becomes the fastest selling in Playboy history. So what do? They call me back because now we're hooked in with you. After we're going to Playboy parties, we're at the mansion, the Halloween extravaganza, Midsummer Night's Dream, we're watching movies at App's house. It's like we're part of their team. So he calls me. He doesn't call WWE. He calls me because we want to do it again. So I say, well, I want 7 figures plus a quarter initial over the normal sales, right? They give it to us. See, I don't know if you know this or not, but she did that 4 times. She did that 4 times. So now she's really raking it in with that. And God, I was happy for her, but our marriage starts tanking now, See, God does forgive you, but there's consequences. There's consequences to sin, okay? And, oh, man, I find them out the hard way, So, make a long story short, she leaves WWE over a lawsuit. I don't know if you remember this or not.
Yeah.
There's a lawsuit with her in the WWE, and I left my guaranteed contract. I had 3 more. I just signed a new contract. I had 3 years left on my guaranteed contract. I walked away, said, forget it. I don't want to do this no more. We had enough money to live the rest of our lives on, or at least I thought. Okay.
But why did you not want to do it anymore?
Oh, gosh, Steve. At that time, we were so vilified. It was like we couldn't walk into the lunchroom without somebody making a comment or, God, Steve, I look back on that part of my life as the saddest part of my life, that because of what was going on with her and the company, and we were just hated, and I knew it, and I had no friends there, and because the thing was, I always traveled with her. So I was in the camaraderie. WCW, I was hanging out with the boys and doing stuff, going to parties or going out and having a beer after or something. But now I'm just with my ex, we'd go to bed early, watch, get up and go on the road. I had no camaraderie with nobody. There was nobody close to me. I didn't have no friends really. But then when that lawsuit happened, I got real bad, And, the story that goes, come back from England, they put poop in her bag, and it was one thing after another, and it was like that final straw was like, who needs this in our life? We got enough money to live the rest of our lives out. Let's just go. She wanted to get into Hollywood and do acting and things like that. So we went and rented a brand new townhouse in Studio City, California. We rented it for 1 year. So I sent her to California to get into some movies. She did some movies and stuff, and I stayed home with our daughter, and I would take care of Mariah while she was trying to get into movies, and it didn't go real well. Not like she was hoping, and because we couldn't use the name Sable no more, so it's now Rena Mero, and it didn't go well. So I'll never forget this. She calls me up and she says, "Hey, Mark, what do you think if I go back to wrestling?" And Steve, God is my witness, I was dumbfounded. I go, "Are you crazy? First of all, they hate you. This would never have you back. Are you crazy?" And she goes, "I already talked to him, and he said he'll think about it." Are you kidding me? And that's how it all started. She had to go and apologize to some of the big stars of the company at the time. I won't mention names, but she went and she did the right thing. She went back and she apologized and got Sable back. And now I'm home watching the kid and taking her to school and doing all the stuff that Dad does. And she's on the road. And, every night we had this thing where we would say goodnight. My daughter and I would say goodnight to her and stuff, and I remember that the phone calls started getting less and less. She was tired. She wasn't around as much. And Steve, and I was thinking, something's going on, man. It's just ain't right. It was like we were really close too. And then our marriage just started tanking. Right after that Playboy thing, it just started going downhill, Phone calls got less and less. And I'm going to tell you, and I make light of this because Steve, when I tell you, the greatest thing in life is forgiveness. There's nothing more that frees you from any bitterness, resentment, or anger in life than forgiveness. And I have nothing against anyone that's ever wronged me. I just don't. I won't live like that, But I will share this story because it is kind of funny. I shared it once with Jill Ross one time. I remember thinking, something's going on. She's got to be seeing someone, So I remember she didn't answer the phone one night. So I left. I really cut this promo on her cell phone. And I was like, why? How could you do this? Not answer your phone? We had an agreement. We talk at night, blah, blah. I hung up the phone. I thought, what a jackass I am. Why would I do that? She's out there trying to earn a living. She's out there doing something she loves. So I figured I'd call back her phone. And I knew her password because we were that close. We knew all each other's passwords and stuff. So I thought, let me delete this before she hears it, right? So I call back her number and punch in her code, and it says, "You have 2 unheard messages." I thought, okay, so I have to listen to the first one to get to mine. And it was another wrestler talking about them too. And I was like, oh my God. Steve, I tell you, we've all been in this position before where your heart is broken. You can't sleep. You start sweating. You're like crazy. And I remember thinking, man, when I find out who this guy is, I'm going to kick the living tar out of this man. And then I found out it was Brock Lesnar. Steve, this gives forgiveness a whole new meaning. The marriage was over. We ended up getting divorced, and God bless them. They got married. They got kids. They live a happy life, and kudos, man. And when I end up getting remarried again, divorced again, and but I'm living the most amazing life. I do exactly what I love doing in life. I get to inspire and empower so many people every single day, and not only change lives, but save lives. We get so many kids that were suicidal, or parents, or people that have reached out to me that said that I changed or saved their life. So I cannot be in a better spot, and I only hope and pray that they are happier than I am. So that's the way. Steve, before you answer this question, the one thing I want to say is that forgiveness is so important, but some of the hardest people to forgive is ourselves, man. Either you forgive or you relive. And if you ever make that choice, please forgive yourselves for past wrongdoings.